Oh my gosh, Nada, that was amazing. Can we give Nada another round of visual applause, please?
Thank you.
Oh, that was so uplifting. You just give me 1 second, Nada. And if you guys have got any more questions, just pop them in the chat and we'll ask them. I want to give you some feedback. I was taking notes rapidly and copying and pasting. Just some of the Creative Mornings responses to what does transit mean. Geeta, for her, Geeta, transit means movement. From Badran, transit means memories. Oh, I love that. And between here and there. And Randa says, transit from sanity to ... So I just thought there were some beautiful reactions, and we had amazing reactions to your artwork, particularly the scream and the girl with the pearl earring. That was just extraordinary, Nada. Thank you so much. So I think the first question is from me, and then it's followed up from James, is what's your banana bread recipe, and are you starting a COVID cookbook? Nada.
Oh my God. Oh, I definitely wouldn't go that far. I mean, the banana bread was probably the one creation that I'm proud to show. And I would say the one good thing that also happened in COVID is that I was actually living with a baker. And all of, I'd say, my baking needs were met. And of course, was happy to try any of the creations that they came up with. So I'm happy to pass on their recipe because I'm pretty sure it's way better. But yeah, I mean, cookbook, maybe not just yet, but definitely maybe a Getty challenge book.
Well, there you go. We could you do your art with the cookery. I mean, that's amazing. We had a question from Altamash, and I believe it's when you were talking about New Zealand. And Altamash says, did the government help you stay wise? Did it help the visitors stay wise while you were there?
Absolutely. I mean, if I was to really kind of, highlight one particular part of the New Zealand shutdown or lockdown that happened, was just how effective they were in just communicating. You know, you would, I swear to God, wake up in the morning and they would give you all the numbers, you know, where everything was happening, what you needed to do, constant reminders to just stay home, you know, lock down, stay in your bubble, only go out if you need essentials. But then there was also this really lovely message that they also added, which was, remember just to also be kind to one another, because during this time, it is incredibly difficult, of course, for people to manage, and especially those who might be, a little older, might not be able to go out during this, COVID pandemic. And so it was just such a lovely message altogether, and, was really something well communicated from their end.
Wonderful. We had a question from James, and it really connects back to last month's Creative Mornings. We had Dr. Upasana Gala, who is this amazing neuropsychologist, come on, and she was telling us about our wonderful brains and how to keep them, fit and working brilliantly. And James asks you, how did the slowdown impact your brain?
Well, it definitely, I would say it did in various ways. Not being able to be out meant that you weren't really communicating with others, you weren't seeing things visually. And so that, by itself is something that kind of slows you down. And the only really way to correct that is to actually then be outside. So it, of course, then wasn't something that was recommended. So the way to sort of go about it was to just go online, perhaps find new ways to engage. Zoom, of course, was, the best thing that happened in 2020, because you could really just connect with people from all over the globe and still keep up to date with things that you were missing out on in the outside. So that's something I think that was helpful in replacing. And then you kind of also started seeing all of these like online tools booming as well, right? Like these, training websites like Coursera and similar other ones where you could just do an online course. So even if you couldn't be outside learning, you could just sign up for something, in a sort of virtual classroom and learn those things then and there.
Yeah, great, thank you. And we've got a lot of people wishing that they had been in New Zealand during lockdown. Our summer was pretty long here in the UAE. I think we'd all agree that was pretty hot. And we got a lot more questions. Dana says, do you think transit will ever be the same again? Traveling, transit.
Well, I mean, it's so hard to imagine transit and travel in the future, or at least in the near future, because I'll tell you, coming back on that plane from New Zealand to Dubai, something like it was a 20-hour flight, having to wear the mask all the time, and then of course just be extra careful not to communicate, not to interact. That really, I mean, it took out a lot of the experience for me, and it's something that I realize obviously is necessary, but it's not, the same experience that I've known all this time. And so it's going to be a modified version, and I think we just need to accept that and just find ways to make light of it.
Great. We've got a few more questions, and I think we've got time for all of them. But just before I continue with the questions, can we all just say hi to Asma's cat? Can we have the cat back up again, please, Asma? He's gorgeous, and he's the right color. But then look at him. Look at that cat. Asma, can we find out the cat's name? You can pop it in the chat or come on.
Adopted him recently. We didn't give him a name yet. He's either Milo or Mowgli.
Okay, Milo or Mowgli. Okay, can we have a vote in the chat, please? Milo or Mowgli? Milo or Mowgli? While that's going on. Right, so I'll get back to the questions. Are we going to name the cat? Asma, I've just taken over the naming of your cat, sorry. Michael, Nada, back to you, Nada. Michael says, is transit also between present thinking and a change in the way we think?
I would think so, because I mean, transit is movement, right? Movement in many different ways. It could be, of course, physical movement, but it could also just be mental movement as well. Thinking something and then maybe learning something else might get you to, broaden your horizons and then just see things in a new light. So I would definitely see it even in that way. A lot of times people think of it, yes, like an airport kind of transit, right? Because that's kind of what you tend to see online or when you're booking flights or that sort of stuff, but it could apply to so many different things as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Ahmed from his iPhone says, Nada, if you had to choose another place to live, to be stuck in, I'm sorry, let me repeat that. If you had to choose another place to be stuck in, which country would you choose?
Oh man, that's a difficult one as well. I think that it was, entirely, to my benefit, the fact that I was in New Zealand and, stuck there in such a fantastic country and of course a gorgeous one as well. But if I had to be stuck somewhere else, I would probably want to be stuck home because, living abroad for so long really took its toll on me in so many different ways. Living out of a suitcase for 6 months. I came into New Zealand when it was like summer and had, just really light clothing packed and all that, and then left when it was like the dead of winter. So just kind of really having those comforts around me really would be probably my preference if I was to do it again. But I'd say New Zealand still tops the list. I think we can all agree.
We think so. Did you see any Hobbits while you were there?
I did see Hobbits.
Oh.
I am a Lord of the Rings fan and did go to the Shire and visited their homes. Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely stunning. If you were not, for people who are not fans of the movie, you have to go see the Shire. The entire space, Middle Earth, is just one place, which is just purely magical. And it was really inspiring to be in.
Wonderful, wonderful. I just got this one comment from Geeta, which I think really sums up Creative Mornings and what you talked about today, because there's some comments and questions about the Met Zone, which I love. I absolutely love the Met Zone. And Geeta says, we would not have met all you lovely people if not for COVID. So this year is not all meh. I think we'll give a little round of applause for Geeta's anti-meh. Nice one, Geeta. Now let's get down to the real business of the day, naming the cat. Okay, can someone keep count, because I'm rubbish at this, right? We got 1, 2,
I kept count, cat.
Yeah, tell me.
So Milo got 7. I was some insistent from some people. He looks like Milo. I think he's Milo. And then Mowgli got 3.
Oh.
So Asma, it's your call, but we need to know.
We got to know, Asma. Can you make your mind up now?
At the house, we all like Milo more. Go Milo! Oh, you get it.
So we named the cat. We named the cat.
This
Let
is the
that
first
be
ever
our-
Creative Mornings. This was a Creative Mornings first globally, naming a cat during a talk.
This
Thank
year
you.
it's definitely not all meh.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just going to scroll for questions. Just for the last few comments on here. Yeah, Milo is getting a lot of votes. Dubai Jiggy says, hang on, I've had my best experiences in transit. Maha says, I got stuck in California, then the UK, so wasn't complaining, but she can relate to the suitcase. And I think that's just beautiful. I'm just sorry if I've missed your question, anyone, please excuse me. I think we've got pretty much everybody in there. And thank you so much.
Kat, there was a question that was on here asking Nada if she had suggestions on how to get out of the meh zone.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, out of the meh. Oh, okay. Well, there are definitely many ways to do that. And I'm actually one of those people that will try to do as many things and then see what sticks. And just over the last, I'd say, month or so, I've just been doing completely random things around Dubai, going to film school, going to hike in different parts of the country, even taking a painting class. I'll happily show you my result, but the entire thing is just based on trying new things and then seeing what sticks. It might not be something that you've expected, and might not be something that you'll make a long-term hobby, but it just kind of opens your mind to all the potential options that are there. And I think it's often maybe even difficult to do if you're trying to maybe do this with friends, because a lot of people might not be in the same zone, might not want to get around to doing the same stuff. So at that point, I would say do it on your own. Make new friends, right? Because that's how these things then become a part of you, a part of your transit and your experience altogether. And of course, call me anytime. I'll be more than happy to just join you in any of those experiences, because I think it's just something that's rewarding for everyone.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Were there, we've got another one. Have we got time,
yes.
James?
Yes.
We're good for time? Okay. Ishita says, where can we learn more about the meh zone theory? Are there any books on this? Are you going to write one, Nada? With your COVID cookbook?
Maybe, yes, exactly. It'll be a very, very interesting book altogether. I'll have a lot of art, a lot of cooking, and of course, the psychology part as well. Well, there is actually a lot of literature on this, and I'll happily share even a link of where I got this from. This is from a psychologist who's put up a website with a lot of, remedies at home sort of suggestions for people to get out of the meh zone. And she explains it in such a way which is so true. I mean, you kind of listen to it and you're thinking, this is me, right? So I like the way that she's actually made it so relevant to actually what people tend to really be thinking these days, and applied it in such a way where you come to a solution.
Wonderful.
So I'll find a way, of course, I'll share it with James, and then maybe we can put that up somewhere so that people can get access to the website.
Absolutely.
We can post it. We can post it on the on social media and add that link. So
and everything we do on Creative Mornings, if you Google Creative Mornings and then the word Dubai, we actually have a space there where we post everything up as well. Hey, Nada, I've got a quick question, and we've got a few more coming in, but I got a quick question. Looking back, 20 years ago, as you were going through schooling and as you were thinking about career, and then all the stuff that's happened, even with your own business in the last 4 years and where we are today, could you have imagined that this creative impulse that you're demonstrating would play such a big role in your life?
Honestly, no. I did not imagine this many years ago. And if you kind of even just look back at my history and what I studied and what I later did in the corporate world, it was very different to the amount of creativity that I apply today on a day-to-day basis. I wake up in the morning and my head's just buzzing with ideas, and it's something that I think honestly just keeps me going. There's no sort of way to explain it other than it doesn't feel like work. It feels like a big part of me that I just find natural in a way. And I just am happy to spend countless hours dedicating time to. So not something, to answer that, not something I thought I would be doing before, and just kind of happened in the course of a few years. It was not like the eureka moment that you sometimes hear about, but it was definitely something that kind of blossomed and became something entirely different and continues to evolve. I like to just also focus on the fact that my business model when I first started was nothing like what it is today. So that's the thing, you need to be dynamic, because the only thing that's actually constant is change.